Hey guys, welcome back inside of the Plastic Planet. I am your host, Knick-Knack, hanging out with you guys tonight. Tonight, guys, we're going to be taking a little bit of a drive down some of the more darker streets and avenues of the toy collecting hobby and exploring that horrible, horrible day when bad things happen to good collectibles. Yeah, we all have our horror stories. If you've been in this collecting game for a while now, you probably have a few of your own, but I'm going to share with you guys tonight some of my big humdingers of bad things happening to my collectibles. Now, granted, I have not had anything too catastrophic. I've been fortunate in my own collection. I've never had a $500 statue take a nosedive off a shelf and shatter into a billion pieces. I've never had anything that catastrophic happen in my collection, but I do have my fair share of disappointments, and I'm going to share a few of those with you guys tonight. So, crack open a beer, because you know what? When bad things happen to good collectibles, it is a great big cup of bitter disappointment and needs to be washed down with probably an alcoholic beverage. So let's get on it, guys. Let's get on it right now.
Knick-Knack's Plastic Planet presents...
Alrighty, guys, our first victim tonight was my General Lee. This happened to me when I was very, very young. I got this piece for my 7th birthday, and it may not look it now, but back in the day, this was the crown jewel of my toy collection when I was just a little guy. This thing was as shiny as a brand new dime, and I loved this General Lee so damn much. It came with a plastic ramp that was really, really cool. It was molded like it was made out of dirt. That ramp's long gone, but what happened with that ramp, playing with that ramp, still remains to this day to this piece. I had this bad boy in the driveway, and I rolled it off that ramp, and it flipped over, and the entire top portion of the General Lee got completely scratched to hell on the driveway. And I imagine the look of horror on my 7-year-old face must have been priceless. Coincidentally, over 30 years later, history repeated itself with my modern General Lee that I purchased a number of years back. I spent almost $100 on this piece, and it took a shelf dive on the steps back here in the archive room, and the console got completely jacked up inside of there, completely broken. The front fender completely broke off. I had to kind of glue that back together. I've managed to whittle this back together a little bit. The back rear end took a dig or two. There's some scratches along the back rear end here. And I've managed to whittle it together and to get it at least somewhat displayable. But you know what? When you know something's broken, you know it yourself, and you can see the flaws. Maybe other people can't see, but you know it's there. You know damn well it's there. And it just eats at you. It just eats at you. So yeah. Chalk up my General Lees. They both got fucked up! Alrighty, guys, going from something that happened to me almost 35 or so years ago, probably more than that, to something that happened to me, well, probably just last week. I had my NECA alien figure here sitting up on my fish tank on a stand in a nice dynamic pose. Thought it was just safe as hell because it was on a stand. I was sitting upstairs watching TV just upstairs from here in the main Plastic Planet Star Wars premium display room, and I hear a crash down here, and I just grimaced to myself. Shit. When you know something, you hear a crash, you know something's on the floor. And down here, it's nothing but cold, hard cement. So I wandered down here cautiously, only to see my NECA alien figure broken, snapped off right there at the ankle. Totally got fucked up! Yeah, that completely frickin' sucks. Alrighty, guys, well, speaking of NECA, once in a while I gotta be reminded why I am not an extra large enthusiast of buying NECA products. It's because just bad things tend to happen to NECA. I don't know what it is, but look at my Superman here. Look at my Christopher Reeve Superman. He is posed really nicely there. He is looking really dynamite on my Superman the movie shelf here with my Superman Christopher Reeve's Hot Toys figure. Yeah, he's looking awesome here, but what you guys don't know is he is hiding a dirty, dark little secret. And I'm not talking about Hustler Mag's back behind the furnace. No. If you're a longtime subscriber of my channel, you might know what I'm talking about because I had this figure featured in my intro for a very long time. But check it out. I was posing him one night, trying to get a better pose out of him, and oh yeah, it popped right out. His leg just snapped right there on the joint. It's completely jacked up. I suppose I could glue it. It is kind of nice. It does kind of fold into this kind of rubber-like kind of a. It's not really rubber, but it's a real malleable plastic on his shorts here. So it does kind of fold into that, so I can kind of get a good pose out of him still. But I know it's broken every time I look at it. I know that thing is a broken piece of shit. And it got fucked up. Alrighty, you guys, we are upstairs here in my premium Star Wars room here in the Plastic Planet. We are taking a look at my 1/6 scale Jabba the Hutt, my old 1/6 scale Jabba the Hutt from Sideshow Collectibles. I've had this piece now for well over a decade. And you're thinking to yourself, well, Knick-Knack, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's held up pretty damn nicely. And overall, it has. But if you're a parent and you're a collector, you know personally that things just tend to get jacked up around little kids. And this piece was one of the victims of my children's little tiny Paw Patrol fingers. As I'm combing across his Diaz here, you guys will notice there is a couple missing little rings here from the little heads that protrude out from his Diaz, as well as, if I get in real closely, you can see some broken teeth in there as well. Not a huge deal, not a deal killer, doesn't make this piece undisplayable, but it is undeniable that my kids completely fucked up my 1/6 scale collectible Jabba the Hutt from Sideshow Collectibles. Damn you little turds! Alrighty guys, as we are combing along my premium shelves here, I'm going to show you yet another victim of father time, so to speak, and that is my Gentle Giant C-3PO bust that I've had for a number of years now. Now, he's still in pretty damn good shape. Again, this is maybe a minor complaint, but it's still noticeable, and every time I see it, all I can see is this imperfection. And you're going to notice one of these, his little neck spoke here, long ago broke off and got lost. I think I also broke one of these, but I managed to glue it back on. So this guy, unfortunately, as cool as he still looks, and he still looks pretty damn good, but every time I look at it, I just know he got fucked up! Speaking of Gentle Giant pieces, a couple years ago I used to have this awesome Count Dooku Asajj Ventress full-scale statue up on a plant stand down here in my display room. And one day I was vacuuming very carelessly and the cord got wrapped around that display stand and knocked it over. It could have been a million times worse. Nevertheless, the lightsaber hilt on Asajj Ventress, you're going to see a little tiny crack right there. Got completely snapped off. I know it's hard to see. I had to super glue it back together, but it is an imperfection. And every time I look at it, I just think about it. Oh, damn it. I really wish this particular piece didn't get fucked up, but it did. Just a couple weeks ago, I was moving this particular display from where it used to live over by my television set over into this corner of the room. And as I got down this Obi-Wan Kenobi, I bumped into it on the couch. It fell over and the lightsaber, unfortunately, snapped right off in the hilt. I mean, yes, it's an older piece. Yes, I now have a Hot Toys Obi-Wan Kenobi, which far replaces this old Sideshow collectible Obi-Wan, but still, it was still part of my display, part of my collection, and every time I look at it, I just get a little bit sick to my stomach because I know it got fucked up! Yep, it did. Alrighty guys, here's another minor imperfection. This is my Sideshow Collectibles Environmental Jabba the Hutt's hallway piece that I've had for several years now. Back at the old house, I was dusting and I had removed this off the shelf, and when these two pieces, this column here actually unattaches from the base here, and I was kind of moving it around and I was putting back on the column and I kind of dropped the column onto the base, and if you guys can see, there is a little tiny white scratch down there that I usually hide with this Womp Rat, but nevertheless I know it's there and it bugs me every time I see it because I know my own carelessness caused this piece to get fucked up! My Sideshow Collectible Indiana Jones, just like my NECA Superman figure, is hiding a dirty, dirty little secret. This guy fell off my shelf about 1.5 years ago, and his leg completely snapped out of his hip joint, and I've got him securely put on a stand up here so you can't tell. But yeah, that thing is broken as shit. Once again, my carelessness caused this piece to get completely fucked up! Oh, here is my vintage Grimlock. My beloved vintage Grimlock. One of my very, very first Transformers. This piece popped my cherry into getting me into the world of the Transformers. I've still managed to hang on to this guy for, over 35 years, and he is completely awesome. So much character into this figure, but he does have a deep, dark secret as well. I may have told this story on the Plastic Planet one time before, but if you look at his vacuum gold chrome paint there, you're going to see a number of cracks all over him. And while that actually does kind of look like cool battle damage, that's not what it initially was. Me and my dipshit friend, when we were little kids, decided it'd be a fun day to put our Grimlock, our Dinobots, he had Snarl, I had Grimlock, into the microwave, and this thing sparked up like a Christmas tree. And as you guys can see, it was never the same again. My poor G1 Grimlock got fucked up! Alrighty guys, you are looking at my Art Asylum or Diamond Select USS Enterprise. I've had this piece for quite a while, but before I had this piece, I had another USS Enterprise. This was a Bandai model kit, and it is not pictured here because I destroyed it. And it was a horrible, horrible thing. So I bought this model kit. It was like I said, it was a Bandai light-up model kit. It was supposed to look amazingly awesome when put together. I bought this model kit off eBay, spent over $100 on the damn thing, and I put it together, and the lights weren't lining up inside of it, and I was having paint issues. The paint wasn't drying on it even after several days, and one day I was just tweaking with it just enough, and I completely broke the entire lower hull in my hand. And it was just, and I was so frustrated with it at that point that the anger monkeys just crawled right up my back. And they were just sitting on my shoulder hissing. And I just couldn't help myself. I took that model kit and I threw it against the wall. And it shattered in all its glory. I mean, it was just like the USS Enterprise getting self-destructed at the end of Star Trek III, The Search for Spock.
My God, what have I done?
It was glorious, it was horrible, it was expensive, but it was the biggest fuck up I've ever had in my collecting life. Oh boy, did that Enterprise Bandai model kit get completely fucked up! Alrighty guys, and finally, this is the granddaddy of them all. This is the one that, to this day, actually really, really bugs the fuck out of me. That is my EFX 1/1 scale Darth Vader mask I have down here. And this is in the main Plastic Planet Star Wars Premium display room. This piece is awesome. I've only had it for a couple years, and I can't remember what I did to it, but at one point I dusted it with something that I probably shouldn't have dusted it with. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of chemical, and you guys can see these little imperfection spots all over it, and I can't get them off. And I haven't dared use anything too harsh on it because I'm afraid I'll wreck it further, but I can't get these goddamn little spots off. And it's a little dusty too, but if you can see past the dust, you can definitely see these spots. The dust will come off, but the spots won't. God, that bugs the shit out of me! It really bugs me, guys! Oh, my poor FX Master Replicas Darth Vader got so fucked up! Oh, it makes me sick. Alrighty, you guys, well, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Plastic Planet. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour of all my little collector fails throughout the years. And you're probably thinking to yourself, compared to some I've gotten off very lightly, and I have. My collection has been very fortunate in that it has not befallen any major calamities. Nevertheless, especially that Darth Vader, some of them still stick in my craw. You know, you guys know how it is. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap things up here on the Plastic Planet. Please like, share, comment. Please do subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And I'll be back real soon with you guys with another awesome edition from the plastic planet. All right, guys, take care. And remember, guys, life is so very, very, very short, so get out there and fill it. Fill it with some plastic crap. All right, guys, till next time. Later. Love ya. Bye.
Fucked up!